group had the question, how many CTE, which stands for Career and Technical Education, classes have you taken throughout high school? And we use convenience as our data sampling technique. Convenience sampling is a non-probability sampling technique where subjects are selected because of their convenient accessibility to the researcher. To employ this method of data sampling, each member of our group, which consisted of John, Josh, and Ryan, interviewed 25 of their friends to get the data. Our sample size, which is the total number of people that were surveyed, was 100. After getting this data, we calculated standard deviation and variance. Standard deviation shows the variance in data and how it differs from the mean. A low standard deviation would mean that most of the numbers are very close to the average, while a high standard deviation means that the numbers are more spread out. To find the standard deviation and variance, you would first list out every single value that you got once you interviewed each person. After that, you would subtract the mean, which is 4.2, from each data value. This will give you the derivation of the mean, which will be different for every value. After that, you would then square each individual derivation of the mean. Once you do that, you will then add every single derivation together to get one number, which in our case was 838.96. You would then divide that number by the total number of terms, which would give you 8.3896, and this is the variance. To calculate the standard deviation, you would simply take the square root of that number, which in our case was 2.9. And since our standard deviation is quite low, it means that most of the numbers were very close to our average.
The measures of central tendency are: mean is the average of all the data values in a set, adding all the values together and subtracting them by the number of data points, which is 4.2. The median is the middle value, or number in the list. Ours is 4. The mode is the most frequently occurring number in a dataset, which is 2, and the mid-range is 5. For the measures of spread, the range is the value given by subtracting the minimum value from the maximum value, which is 10. And our 5-number summary consists of min value, first quartile, median or second quartile, third quartile, and the max value. The minimum is 0, which is the lowest value in a dataset. The first quartile is 2, the second quartile is 4, the third quartile is 7, the IQR is 5, the max is the highest value in the dataset, which is 10.
So for our graphical representation of our data, we chose a bar graph, which is a chart that uses bars to show comparisons between categories of data. We labeled the x-axis with the number of people and the y-axis with the number of CTE classes that they've taken.
Okay, this is our bell curve graph, and the mean of our data is 4.2, and our standard deviation is 2.9. And we use this mean to mean the center of our graph of our data, and the standard deviation breaks up the percentages. And the percentages just show you what amount of our data lies where. You subtract the standard deviation from the mean to get each part of the graph to show what the percentages lie in between where. But in our situation, this bell curve does not have a normal distribution. For that to happen, the mean, the median, and the mode would all have to be the same, and it would not be skewed. Because the bell curve is more skewed to the left, more of the data values fall between the lower half of the data set.